Hi, I'm Bronnie Ware. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to speak a little bit today about resistance. And, it's a subject that all of us have, but about the stories that we tell ourselves around resistance. So, when life's calling us to grow and we think that we have to do something we don't want to do, or sorry, I have a Tickles is just wanting to hop up. Oh, here's Tickles for today's video. Hey, beautiful boy. He was just nudging at my hands while I was trying to speak. This is Tickles if you haven't met him before. So many times we're doing things and we feel like, I don't want to do this. I just want to do that. I just want to do that. But there's another part of us that knows deep down that what we're doing is actually good for us, even if we're resisting it. So I'll give you an example. I was a singer-songwriter before I became an author, and I had a massive amount of resistance to it, but I had a message I wanted to share, and I tried for a few years to get a little photography and inspiration book published that I couldn't do, and in the frustration of all those rejection letters piling up, and they were letters in those days, not emails, I picked up my guitar in frustration and wrote a song. And so then I decided that I'd try the singer-songwriter path, and I did a lot of gigs at songwriters' nights and open mic nights and stuff like that, and eventually into some small festivals as well. But I resisted it a lot. I didn't like being in the public eye. I didn't like being on stage, but I didn't know which other way to get my message out there. And so during that time, I fought with it a lot, and I still battle sometimes with being in the public eye. I can be very reclusive and introverted sometimes, and so there's times when I'm doing things and I think I don't want to do any of this. I just want to I just want to write books and grow flowers, step out of the public eye. But what I learned when I was on the stage with being a singer-songwriter was that the more I showed up and sang my songs and was vulnerable and kept putting myself out there, the more my heart was actually being cracked open and healing. It was, when you're on a stage sharing your vulnerable songs, you're going to go through some sort of positive healing. And so sometimes we can tell ourselves these stories that I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that, and even still I'm human, and even still there's times I still resist being in the public eye. But what I know and trust now from so much experience testing it is that the bulk of our pain through our resistance is really just the stories that we're telling ourselves. So I can say the story that I don't want to be in the public eye, that I just want to live a quiet, simple life growing flowers and writing books, and a part of me does want all that. But another part of me absolutely loves my audience. I love the community I have built around me, and I love that I get to connect with so many beautiful, wise, good-hearted people all around the planet, and that I don't have to have walls around me, and that the more honest I am, the more it actually helps me and supports me and cracks me open even further. So I just want to prompt that for you. If you're resisting anything at the moment, try to keep in mind that there's a lesson in it. And if you can bring as much mindfulness or presence of mind to it, to actually say, well, what is this trying to teach me here? What is the lesson? Because the lesson is on your side. You might be resisting it because of stories you've told yourself about what is best for you and what you really, really want. And it's okay to want all those things too. But perhaps the way to get there is by breaking through the resistance that life is trying to help you with at the moment. So I know that after all those years on the stage, I had all that. Oh, you can see Tickle's face here. How beautiful is my little boy. When I had all that resistance, and I kept going because it wasn't to get through the resistance. I just didn't know any other way. And then life rewarded me with the author's path instead. And I'm very comfortable on a stage now to speak and sing and anything else. But I had to just keep going through my resistance because I knew that there was a pull, there was something there. And so when you're looking at your own resistance as well, as I do with my story I tell myself about, just growing flowers and writing books and nothing else, then I look at the resistance and what story I'm telling myself, and I'm not telling myself the whole story, and you probably are not either. So the whole story is that, yes, okay, I want to do those things, but I also want to grow, and I also want to serve the planet in whatever way that life feels I will best, because all of us have a contribution to make. It doesn't have to be a public contribution. It can just be supporting your neighbor. It can be supporting your neighbor to get through depression, or it could just be through a really small thing that seems small but is actually essential and a wonderful contribution to the good of the whole planet. So have a look at your resistance and just see, is the story you're telling yourself the whole story? Because there's a really good chance that there's another part of you that does want to grow and does want to see who you could actually be if you got through your resistance, what you could actually experience in terms of joy and a sense of contribution to the planet, and but also just for your own growth and your own potential, for your own soul's journey. Just who can you really be if you get your story, if you stop making your story such a limited one, such with very clear boundaries. This is my story and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to resist anything else that doesn't work with this story. So I do believe that a huge amount of the pain we suffer through resistance has to do with the story we're telling ourselves. And when you can reframe that story into gratitude or surrender and trust, then you can actually enjoy the journey so much better, and you can also find the blessings in it. Find the blessings in it, because if I was just writing books and growing flowers, and maybe I will in 10 or 20 years, or maybe I never will, or maybe I'll do it for a year and realize how much I either miss my audience, you guys, my community, or how I'm not fulfilled because I'm not growing, I'm not stretching myself. And we don't know what we're really here to learn. But just have a look at the story you're telling yourself, and maybe then life can turn out, when we get rid of that resistance. Look at that cute little face on this boy. Hey, yeah, I'm talking about you. Maybe then we can know the bliss that Tickles is showing us is possible. Okay, I think that's probably enough. Think about the story you're telling and how much of a role it plays in your resistance, and have a look at what the lesson is trying to teach you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found the video helpful, especially if you truly do want to reach your fullest experience of life with no regrets. You might also like the free resources of articles, interviews and videos available on my website at bronnieware.com. If you'd like your question to be considered for a future video, or if you'd like some inspiration in your inbox, then join my mailing list via the website. Find out more about my books, which have inspired over 1 million people in 32 languages, at bronnieware.com/books. My online programs are found at bronnieware.com/courses. Socially, I can be found on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook and Pinterest. If you've benefited from what I share here, tag your friends so they can too. Stay well and safe out there, and remember, Live true to your heart's own song.